Welcome to Econ 102, where economist Noah Smith and I make sense of what's happening in the news, technology, business, and beyond through the lens of economics. Let's jump right in.
We don't really know why crime fell, but I think increases in policing and incarceration probably had a lot to do with it. You know, you put the criminals in jail and then you don't have crime anymore. Anyway, I could go off on that tangent, but the point is that, cities really had to work hard to balance their budgets in the 70s. Like New York almost went bankrupt in 1975. And so they really had to do that. Regulation, cities never actually deregulated, but the point is that crime made housing so cheap for a while that all the older housing stock, like the Victorians in San Francisco, got really cheap because nobody wanted to live near crime. And when crime went away, there was a lag before the prices caught up, in which you could actually live in the Mission for super, super cheap in 2002. And all the hoodie-wearing rebels that created Twitter and whatever, they went there to be bohemians. You live the bohemian life. Tech was a bohemian thing. If you didn't want to work for, Microsoft or Oracle or any of the big, tech companies of the time, you didn't want to work on the peninsula and wear a tie to work. You would come up to San Francisco and you'd put on a hoodie and you'd just code, fun apps that would let people, that would give a voice to the voiceless and let everyone share their opinions. And that was Twitter, right? It was a bunch of bohemians. They would go to raves. You read the book Hatching Twitter and it's like they're all going out raving. The Burning Man culture grew out of that. Now it's like a bunch of, middle-aged people, sort of doing drugs at Burning Man, and undercover cops at Burning Man. It's kind of dead, and the real actions moved to other parties. But yeah, that was the bohemian lifestyle, and you could afford that because it was cheap, because crime had bombed out the cities and made no one want to live there. And then suddenly hipsters were willing to move to the cities, and crime decreased, but there was a information lag. People didn't know that crime was low by 2002, crime was pretty low in a lot of these cities, but people didn't know that. It wasn't low in the international sense of Europe or Japan, but it was low, very much lower relative to what it had been. It was usually about a 3/4 decline, between 2/3 and 80% decline in crime. That was a big decline, right? That's big. And so that increase in safety took a while to percolate, but it made stuff cheap. And so you had the hipster bohemian gentrifier era of 20 years before rents caught up. And so it was just total profligacy, total complacency. The idea that you had infinite money to spend and you could be infinitely permissive to crime and nothing bad would ever happen to you. And, it's then bad things happen to you because people were refused or were unable to look through to the consequences. Have you ever heard the expression finem respice?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's a Latin phrase meaning think of the consequences. Think of what will happen if you do this. If you become more permissive in crime, think of crime will go up, sir. If you regulate housing, so that no one can build any housing, it will get more expensive. If you just keep spending money, you'll more and more, you'll eventually go bankrupt. If everything costs way too much, you'll eventually go bankrupt. Think to the consequences, but they didn't. Cities lived for the moment, and now the moment has caught up with them.
Let's talk about the crime thing for a second, because there's this dissonance where you see in the stats crime going down, well, at least in San Francisco, but you also see stores don't want to open or stores close down, or I guess, how do you explain this dissonance a little bit, right? Where people either feel less safe or stores are actually, closing down. Is it possible that maybe crime is down because people are reporting it less, or because people are, I don't know, spending less time there or something? Or
so crime's down nationwide from 2020, 2021, way down. But that was a big increase. So, it went up and then it went down, and it's not quite down to where it was before it went up, right? It's still a little bit higher. It's way down over the last couple of years. And this is the theme of the entire Biden years. Everything, got worse in 2021, and some things got worse in 2022, and then everything got better in 2023 and 2024. And I guess it wasn't long enough for people to care, or they cared about other stuff like wokeness. I don't know. But this is the story of the Biden years. Everything has gotten better recently, but it got worse for a while, and it's a lag before people understand these things. Then there's certain areas. So property crime in San Francisco is still incredibly high. That's still way higher than it used to be. That increase started in 2014 or thereabouts. And then that has continued to increase, and maybe it's fallen a tiny bit this past year, but it's, like it'll be a long time before we get a control of that. And so first of all, murder is different. So murder primarily affects like young men in very poor neighborhoods. Like in America, yeah, like you're not going to get murdered. Like a few people do get murdered. Like there was that product, I think Facebook product manager in the Mission who accidentally got shot in 2020 in a gang fight, right? It was crossfire. Very few people get murdered. And then you had like a murder of a rich tech guy. It turned out to be another rich tech guy who was mad because he was like sleeping with his sister or something like that. There was some sort of honor killing by like really conservative Iranians. Like that's the kind of murder you get among like rich people. Like, but the property crime is absolutely pervasive. It's like your packages will get stolen, your car will get broken into, blah, blah, blah. You've got to just like have your house be a fortress. Like stores get looted, so there's like no stores downtown. Property crime is off the charts. Murder's down. Like I care more about murder than I care about property crime, but that doesn't mean I don't care about property crime. And then there's urban disorder, which doesn't even rise to the level of like a prosecutable crime, which is just like, I mean, I guess there is. Like maybe doing fentanyl on the street could get you prosecuted, but like that's not really how you stop it. You stop it by just like, say, kicking people off the street. And there's homelessness. Homeless people are primarily victims, right? They're victims of expensive housing, and then they're victimized by crime. Like most homeless people are not criminals. Most of the people who are criminals are like, meth heads who actually have homes, who come out to victimize the homeless and like rape them and take their meager possessions and beat them up or whatever. Like the meth heads come and prey on them. Maybe some of the meth heads are homeless too, but like a lot of the meth heads are not homeless. The point is that like it's meth heads. It's not, but people always say, oh, it's the homeless. I got attacked by a homeless person. Like it probably wasn't. It's probably just a meth head. But regardless, like the police aren't doing anything about it. Then they did because of Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping came and and then they cleaned up parts of the city. Like City Hall, the area in front of the City Hall still has like no, like homeless people, street people. It did like during COVID, they were like all over that like lawn, all that stuff. Now you go out, there's like a line, there's like an invisible line with like those little statues and whatever from Civic Center to the City Hall, from Civic Center Station, from like Market Street around like 10th or whatever to City Hall. There's like a little place where there's like, you see like street people on the street and then none. We can control this stuff, but we don't, because we think anarchy is a form of welfare, and being permissive toward bad street behavior is a way of making our city a welcoming place for everybody. In truth, it makes it a welcoming place for nobody. It just pollutes and destroys the commons. And we've had this tragedy of the commons.
What does the future hold for business? Ask 9 experts and you'll get 10 answers. It's a bull market. It's a bear market. Rates will rise or fall. Can someone invent a crystal ball? Until then, over 41,000 businesses have future-proofed their business with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud ERP, bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, HR into one fluid platform. With one unified business management suite, there's one source of truth, giving you the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. With real-time insights and forecasting, you're peering into the future with actionable data. When you're closing the books in days and not weeks, you're spending less time looking backwards and more time on what's next. If I had needed this product, it's what I'd use. Whether your company is earning millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you respond to immediate challenges and seize your biggest opportunities. Speaking of opportunity, download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/102. The guide is free to you at netsuite.com/102. netsuite.com/102. Ever feel like managing your business finances is a full-time job on top of your actual full-time job? Yeah, me too. That is, until I started using Found. Found is a business banking platform that lets you effortlessly track expenses, manage invoices, and prepare for taxes. You can even set aside money for different business goals and control spending with different virtual cards. I've saved so much money because Found helps me identify tax write-offs. And I saved so much time that I can now devote to chasing new opportunities and doing the work I enjoy. Oh, and by the way, other small businesses are loving Found too. This Found user said, "Found is going to save me so much headache. It makes everything so much easier. Expenses, income, profits, taxes, invoices even. And Found has 30,000 5-star reviews just like this." Open a Found account for free at found.com/econ102. Found is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services are provided by Piermont Bank, member FDIC. Don't put this one off. Join thousands of business owners who have streamlined their finances with Found.
Econ 102 is a podcast from Turpentine, the network behind Moment of Zen, In the Arena, The Cognitive Revolution, and more. If you like what you hear, subscribe and leave us a review in the App Store. You can keep up with both of our Substacks for written analysis of the topics we cover in the show at noahopinion.substack.com and eriktornberg.substack.com. Thanks for listening.